George Russell just pipped Lewis Hamilton's clear a much needed pole in his bid to kickstart a championship fight back at the Barcelona Grand Prix. Kimi Antonelli, the championship leader, was third in second Mercedes, but Charles Leclerc, another pole contender, crashed in the other Ferrari at the start of Q3 and qualified 10th, having fallen 68 points behind his Mercedes teammate after failing to score points in the last two Grand Prix. Russell needed a big weekend. And he delivered with one of the best laps to beat Kimi Antonelli. But in a Q3 shootout compromised by Leclerc's accident, Russell was pushed all the way for one of the season's historically most valuable poles, producing a superb final lap of 1:14.6 to outpace Antonelli by an impressive 3/10 margin. But Hamilton's carrying Ferrari's hopes after his teammates crash nearly beat both Mercedes with a brilliant final lap to just fall short by just over half a tenth. Second, though, still marks Hamilton's first front row start Ferrari, and he aims to go one better than the runners-up race day finishes of Canada and Monaco. It's going to be an interesting race, said Russell. He will start from ahead of the grid for the third time this season. Lewis did an amazing job to get out there. That was a real surprise. McLaren had looked to be the most likely challengers based on their practice form, but it kind of faded, and Lando Norris did just about enough to pip Max Verstappen to fourth. Piastri originally held provisional part at the start of Q3, but the Leclerc triggered red flag slipped to seventh on the resumption, with Isaac Hadjar taking sixth to ensure the two Red Bulls start between the two McLarens. Lawson continued his fine form with eighth for Racing Bulls, while Hulkenberg made Q3 for the first time this year to take ninth for Audi ahead of Leclerc. Meanwhile, after struggling throughout practice on a track that exposes their car and engine deficiencies, Aston Martin qualified on the back row, but for the first time in 43 races, Lance Stroll out-qualified his teammate. Amid sweltering conditions though in Barcelona, Russell had appeared the quicker of the team Mercedes drivers around the high-speed circuit, although he found Antonelli in the Ferrari's company in qualifying. Hamilton's tricky weekend suddenly came alive when he topped Q1 by a tenth from Russell, before Leclerc then finished the same margin better than the latter Mercedes at the end of Q2. But Leclerc was soon out of pole reckoning, as just 6 days after he crashed out of his home Monaco Grand Prix when running third, he found the barriers in Barcelona, rounding a long curve on turn 4 on his first flying lap of Q3. Leclerc lost control as he was across to the outside line, and a car slithered straight into heavy impact nose first crashed with the tyre barriers. The subsequent red flag brought out pause proceedings, with McLaren's Piastri and Red Bull's Verstappen the only drivers at the time with Q3 laps on the board. The final session resumed with just over 8 minutes left, just enough time for the drivers to complete 2 rounds depending on the remaining soft tyre allocation. Russell, Antonelli and Hamilton could all afford that, with the former getting inside Piastri's benchmark on his return to the track to hold provisional pole. On the final runs, Antonelli briefly usurped Russell to head the time sheet, but the Briton was going significantly faster on the road and ended up lapping 3/10 faster than his teammate. Hamilton gave his teammate a major fright though in the second sector, but he was eventually just pipped. A delighted and relieved Russell said, "It's been a great weekend so far. I feel like my old self again, where every lap I'm doing, always fighting in the top positions. Those last few races, for numerous reasons, haven't really gone on our side, but it feels like a clean slate." For Hamilton, who was one of 7 race drivers to sit out of Friday's practice, had a difficult start to the weekend, but really came alive. He said, "In P3 I was easily 4 or 5 tenths off, and I was thinking, where am I going to get that pace? Between P3 and qualifying, I went to my motorhome, came back in Q1, I first time this weekend had a good balance and was comfortable. Q2 was a bit harder with traffic. The Mercedes guys did a good job, and congrats to George, but we're in a good position to be able to fight tomorrow. We have a race." Antonelli, another driver to miss FP1, had trailed Russell in every session since his return and starts off in the front row for the first time this season. "It's been a difficult weekend so far. I didn't really like the feeling with the car," he admitted. "The long run was strong yesterday, but today I've been lacking a bit, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow," he said. And before I go, let me run you through the classification from qualifying. Russell on pole, great job from him. It's been a perfect weekend from him so far, and he needs to round it off and get back on track. Hamilton in second, where on earth did that come from? That was really, really impressive from him. He'll be, I think, really pleased with that. Antonelli third. I think it's been a tough weekend for him, but he's still in the mix, so I think he'll still be relatively pleased with that. Norris in fourth. McLaren's pace kind of fell away. I think Piastri especially will be disappointed, but just didn't really have the pace. Fell away from practice where it looked strong. I think Red Bull, relatively pleased considering where they were in practice, and I think having Hadjar there right there is a big plus as well, isn't it? And then you've got Lawson in 8th, Hulkenberg in 9th, great results for them, and they'll be looking to take advantage of that in the Grand Prix tomorrow. Leclerc in 10th, super frustrating, just making too many mistakes at the moment, isn't he? And it really is costing him. Lindblad in 11th, I think it's okay, probably would have wanted to be a bit higher, but it's not the end of the world. Him and Bortetta can fight from there. The Alpines just kind of bit off those two teams, kind of similar for Haas, who's just seemed to have fallen away in the last few races. Williams as well, kind of 2x2 order, isn't it? The Cadillac's doing okay here compared to the Aston Martins, where they had But yeah, for the Aston Martins, it's just a shocking state of affairs, isn't it? I mean, I guess for Stroll out qualifying Alonso is something.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.